Hi everyone, my name is Dakshita and I'm your social science educator on Study Room. So in this video, we will be learning chapter 4 of economics, which is food security in India. Now, what do you mean by food security? I'm sure you all must know what is the meaning of food, which is why our mouth is watering right now. But what is food security? What do you understand by food security? Let me give you a situation here. For example, from past 3 to 4 days, you're craving for something good. Let's take an example of our all-time favorite. You know what I'm drawing? It's a pizza. So, if you're craving for pizza from last 4 to 5 days, and unfortunately you didn't get it, so is it food security for you? Or instead of pizza, you're getting something nutritious at your home. Okay. So do you think this is food security? Now, are you insecure about your favorite pizza? Well, in this chapter, we will learn about the actual meaning of this term, food security. What is food security? Who are the people who get these food security? And why was this term given? Okay, let's start. Yes, first is what is food security? Food security is nothing but three A's of words. Okay, these three A's are availability, accessibility, and affordability. So, food security is that insurance of food which is available to people, which is easily accessible to people, and easily affordable to all people at all times. Okay, so this is the basic crux of food security. That, for example, if there is a family of 4 people, so all the four for all the 4 people, food is available all the time, food is accessible all the time, and food is affordable for them. Now, do you think that India, in terms of food, is completely secure? Let's find out. Now, where this food security term has come from? So, in 1995, World Food Summit, the amendment of definition of food security has been done. Okay, and it has emphasizes more to access to safe, sufficient, and nutritious food. Okay, and these word of accessibility to the people has been given by famous pol science professor Amartya Sen. Okay, so he has given the term accessible. Why do you think it's important that food should be accessible to people? Food is important for people. Food is important. Accessibility of food is important for people, because if people do not get the food, if the food is not reaching to them, if the nutritious, sufficient, and safe food, okay, access to what sufficient, safe, and nutritious food is not being accessible to the poor people or the strata uh, that needs this particular kind of food, because they cannot afford. So what is the purpose of it, right? If a government is giving food to all the 4 people of family living in hut, but the food is not sufficient for them, not nutritious for them, or not safe for them to eat, then what is the point of that food? Okay, so that is why these words are being added in the definition of food security has been changed in 1995 World Summit to give more focus on what we are delivering to the beneficiaries. Okay, yes, so this is the major definition and the major changes that has been happened in 1995 World Food Summit. Now, let's find out the impact of calamities on food security. Okay, what impact they do on food security. Okay, so one is the word famine. What do you all understand by famine? Famine in simple term is scarcity of food. Okay, it's scarcity of food, means not enough food. Okay, famine means that there comes a situation where there is widespread death due to starvation and epidemic. Means the people are not getting enough food that they require to suffice themselves. So that is why famine occurs. People starve, and it leads to epidemic and widespread death of people happen due to this. Okay, now there are majorly two forces of this. First is use of contaminated water, means impure water or a kind of water that is not suitable to human drinking, or decaying of food. Okay, means not having proper and nutritious food. Okay, now let's understand the pattern of this and how this happens. How do we lead to the situation of famine? The only major the only major reason to lead to famine is drought. Okay, drought in Hindi we call it sukha pad jana. Okay, which means that the land goes so barren and there is no moisture in the land. Okay, no moisture, so there will be no food production. Okay, this the drought lead to food being decreased. Of course, if there is no moisture in the land, if there is no rainfall, if there is no other source, and if there is all barren land, so no production will come, no crop will can be sown. Okay, now decrease in food production leads to, of course, shortage of food. Okay, people are not getting enough food that they required because it has not been grown. This leads to uh, price rises. Okay, means the price of particular food or particular kind of vegetable or crop goes very very high. And for some people, or for like in our country, for most of the people, it becomes difficult to afford the food which is of very very high price. Okay, and this leads to food insecurity. Let's give more light to what is food insecurity. Are you insecure about something? Means, are you concerned about something that this thing you might lose one day? What it is? Maybe a chocolate, maybe your favorite dress, or maybe someone very close to you, right? But for some people, food security basically means disruption of food distribution or a disruption in the eating habit lack of resources due to lack of resources, or maybe lack of money. Okay, so food insecurity is when the people wish, obviously nobody wants to sleep with empty stomach. So food insecurity is when they want but they do not get food due to certain condition. Okay, it's the disruption in the food habit, or in the eating regular habit due to lack of resources. If people do not have enough money to afford food for a day, then that leads to food insecurity. All right, so I hope you get what is food insecurity now. Our country at one time has faced this devastating situation in 1943, which is known as the famous Bengal famine. In this famine, almost 30 lakh people has been killed because there was no food available for them. It was in the province of Bengal, and this was because of prices of rice, especially where is the it is the basic consumption of everybody. Rice is a staple food of Bengal. Okay, it means that it's a staple food, means it's part of their routine. It's part of their daily dietary. Okay, so staple food of Bengal, which is rice. The prices of rice become very high, and it affected all the laborers and people of from lower strata, be it laborers, fishermen, and casual laborers. So the most, because obviously they cannot afford the prices, cannot afford the prices of rice. So laborers, traditional workers, fishermen, or people who used to do daily wage worker. Okay, so these were people, or you can just simply understand by people of coming from lower strata, lower economic background, lower economic section of the society. These people were affected the most from this famine, and almost 30 lakh people, including children, men and women, lost their lives because they did not have food in their plates to eat. Do you think this was exactly the same reason for Bengal famine? Let's find out. So here is our question. Do you agree that Bengal famine happened due to shortage of rice? Let's see. So here we have proper data, okay, which from 1938 to 1943. Okay, 1943 is important year for us to now focus upon. 1938, the availability was 85 units per lakh tons, and in 1943 it was 79 unit per lakh tons. There was not much difference, what we can see in the numbers from 85 to 79. Obviously, if the availability is 79 units per lakh ton, there cannot be scarcity of food. So, what was actual reason for Bengal famine? Because as we have data here, we can clearly see that 79 units per lakh ton is not a short number. It cannot lead to famine. Okay, or we have in 1941 we have reached to much lower level, and then we did not see the situation of famine. But what happened in 1943, that we saw this devastating famine in Bengal, despite of having food available for the people. In the history of it, we blame this one person who is known as the hero of wartime. He was president of UK, which is who is called Winston Churchill. Yes, so this guy with Winston Churchill, which is who is known as the hero of wartime. So this was the time of World War II. Okay, and he approved somehow supplies from India, food supplies from India, um, despite of knowing that the food available is currently short. Okay, so he approved the transportation or the trading of food from India for his war, for the consumption of people who were at war. Okay, and not considering the fact that the country or the state requires food. Okay, so uh, the all the blame and the reason for this famine goes to this person. Okay, Winston Churchill, who did a very insensitive act at that time, and his whatever way he approved, it's known as Winston Churchill policy. Okay, with policy. So it was due to Winston Churchill policy that food could not be available for our people at that time. Now, let's understand who are the people who have food insecurity. Who are the people who are insecure of food? I am sure craving for just a pizza for 4 5 days does not lead to food insecurity, because you're grateful that you even have food. Okay, so let's find out about these people who are food insecure. So majorly it is traditional artisans and laborers in rural areas, because their earning is not very high. And since they are very traditional artisans workers just in rural areas, the salary or the amount they get for their work is not very high, or very uh, something that they can suffice on their own. Okay, second is casual wage worker laborers in urban area. We can also call them as daily wage workers. Okay, who do not have proper job or employment. They work on different area, labor work on different area for different on daily basis. Okay, so these are the major two kind of people in rural areas and in urban areas who are food insecure. Now, we have two examples here, one from rural areas and one from urban areas. So, the example of Ramu and Ahmad. Okay, so Ramu is a casual farm labor and his seasonal income, uh, as in whenever the crop will grow, he will get money, and by the time crop is not, there's no work in the field, he is unemployed, which is 4 months per year he is unemployed. Okay, so this was the story of Ramu in rural areas. Second, we have Ahmed. Ahmed is a rickshaw puller in the city, and his earning vary upon holds a PTS card. Okay, so if they get somebody who will sit on his rickshaw and they'll pay him, that's the only dependency he has upon wages. So now that you understand the story of these two people, let's discuss few questions here. Now, based on the examples of Ramu and Ahmed, answer the following questions, and I want you guys to also think answer upon your own, okay, and have perspective over it. Yes, first question is Yes. So first question is, why is Ramu's employment seasonal? Why is his employment is seasonal? Because he works in the sector which does not require field work in all 12 months of a year. Okay, so for 4 months, when there is no work on the field, he is um he is unemployed, and for the rest of the month which have work on the field, he is employed at that time. Okay. When is Ramu food insecure? He food insecure when there is no food production, or when there is no proper fine crops that have been grown for those 4 months, when the crops are on the verge of growing and they require their time. So at that time, Ramu is food insecure. Does Ahmed have a regular income? Do you think he have a regular income? Maybe some of you can say if he have regular clients, so he will have regular income. Do you think an auto rickshaw have a regular regular travel to who will take his rickshaw every day? No. So definitely, um, uh, he does not have a regular income. How does the PDS card help Ahmed? What is a PDS card? PDS card is basically public distribution system. If a person has PDS card, that means he or she cannot afford food for himself all the time. So they have PDS card, which is also known as ration card. And having this card help people to get ration at the time of scarcity of food at a very affordable price. Okay, so that's how PDS card will help Ahmed to get food at very affordable price when he cannot afford himself. All right. Now, furthermore, let's find out who else people apart from what we have studied, who else people who are food insecure. Okay. So one is of course certain social and economic groups who are vulnerable, means that they are known as weak section of the society, weak as in socially or economically backward. They need some help from our government or administration for employment opportunities and for all other things like food security. These are ST, SCs, and OBCs. You must have heard the word quota. We have separate quota or percentage reserved for them because of their lack of representation. Okay, so that's why they are very weak section of the society who are constantly uh, on the verge of food insecure. Second, we have people affected by natural disasters. Okay, so if any time a natural disaster comes, it's very unpredictable and uncertain. That the people lost lot of things. People lost their property, their uh, lives sometimes, and all the resources they have. Okay, so at that time they are also food insecure. So people who are affected by natural disaster or natural calamity are also food insecure. Third, pregnant and nursing mothers' children under the age of 5. Okay. So pregnant and nursing mothers are also sometimes they lead to food insecure. Now, food insecure means having safe, sufficient, and nutritious food. I hope you remember that. Okay, safe, sufficient, and nutrition food. All the pregnant mothers or all the child under 5 deserve nutritious, safe, and sufficient food. Okay, so sometimes these people also go through food insecure. Are also referred as people who are food insecure. Fourth, states with high incidence of poverty and natural disaster. So, in a state where natural disaster is bound to come every year, other states which people of the states are food insecure, okay, or maybe high incident of poverty, where ratio of poverty is high, okay, where the ratio of poverty is high, okay. So these are the states which are also food insecure. So I hope you understand who are the people who are food insecure. So we'll continue the chapter in next video.